House to Home, presented by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
Day and hello everybody. We have a crowdsourcing episode of House to Home today. Liz and Gina are here and we are talking about the most frequently asked questions. I know you guys get a lot of calls. You guys certainly put your cell phones out all the time and you invite people, say ask us anything. So what are the issues that pop up the most?
Well, Gina has some issues and I have a few, but the most recent that I'm working on is I'm going to be listing a piece of property, and the woman says, hey, I've got power of attorney. And that, of course, that's not a problem. Just bear in mind, power of attorneys for selling property has to have specific language. It has to read special power of attorney. And of course, I want to say we're not attorneys. Anyone doing this will have to go to the attorney or call the escrow companies. But there's language that is required in order to sell the property. It'll state special power of attorney, and in the document, it'll describe the property. And the property description is about a paragraph, and it states lot number, estate. It gives the history of that property, what document recorded it. So that language has to be in the document. If you don't have it, land management will not record it or honor the document. So there is specific language that has to be in that special power of attorney. So again, I want to emphasize that you should check with your attorney if you're allowing someone to sell on your behalf. Let's say we've got a lot of family members that are stateside and they have someone here handling the sale of their property. And even in the document, it will give, it'll state they have the authority to sell, collect the monies, deposit the money. So you have to decide how far do you want them to handle this, right? Because if it's sold, they collect the monies, but of course the escrow company will contact the seller and say, we just want to make sure you are okay with them receiving the check, or do you want us to deposit the check in a specific account? Okay. So they're actually handling the mechanics of the process.
Okay, Gina, how about you? What pops up most for you when you take calls?
Well, we get all kinds of questions, but one of the most recent ones that I'm working on is about ownership. In this particular situation, the family has already gone through court. They've completed their probate process. We actually deal with a lot of probate issues, whether it's just questions before the probate begins or, anyway, generally we get a lot of questions about that. But this particular group of people, probate's already been done. They've already closed out the probate, meaning they've paid for all the fees and they've received the property into their ownership. But what happened in my particular case is the family received ownership. So they were all, excited. Okay, it's been 10 years. We finally received our property. They were really excited. The map was actually subdivided so that at that point, it's been 10 years. There's only 6 people remaining after that 10-year period. So the 6 people received their property. The map was recorded. And so 2 of the family members came to me and said, Gina, we're at a probate. We received title to our property. Here's the map. We'd love to sell it. We're ready to sell the property. We're never going to come back or we're never going to use it. So I said, great. I went through the process and, I have a very specific way of doing my work. So the first thing is I want to verify your ownership. Well, don't worry about that. We already got the documents from the court. Yeah, but, I have a process. I'm going to follow that process no matter what. So I'll go through the thing. So I did and found out that, yes, you guys received the property, but guess what? When the probate court gave you the property, all 6 of you got all the lots. You didn't, and they said, but we pulled a lottery. We all got together. We pulled a number out of a hat, and that number is what I got. Yeah, amongst you guys, amongst the family, you know which lot you're going to have. But the way you own it right now is in what's called undivided interest. The 6 of you,
which we talked about a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah, the 6 of you now own all of these properties. And so part of the thing that we do is we come up with solutions. Okay, so what can you do now? And so we sat down, we came up with a game plan. You all need to deed the property. So everybody give me what you pulled out of the lottery. So each of you will deed it to each other. And you know, after spending that much time and that much money to go through probate, and now you find out you still need to do something more. Yes, you do, but if you don't, you're going to run into bigger issues later. And so that's what the family did. They all sat down, came up with money to pay an attorney to do the deeds. So each of the 6, so on one document it says, this 6 people are deeding this lot to this person. And they had to do that with each and every property.
Well, I have a question now that you've shared like what questions you guys get most. Personally, I've always been curious, like how many phone calls do you field per day, each of you?
Oh God, we field quite a bit of calls.
Yeah,
But I
that's a
wanted to
lot.
go back along the lines that she was saying. She was saying that the probate case, the probate deeded all the properties to all 6 of them. Well, along that same line, I have lots that were deeded to all parties, and one of the owners has the power of attorney to make the sale of the number of lots that were deeded to all of them. Problem is, now some of them have passed away, so it's like I have to come to a screeching halt. I cannot list the property because some of the family members on the deed have died. So that power of attorney has no effect. So now I have to refer them to an attorney to settle and get court approval to put the property up for sale from the members that have passed away. So they have to open probate for that to allow for us to put the property on the market. So the parties that have passed away have to appoint an administrator to execute part of that process of putting the property on the market. So it complicates things, but again, as Gina puts it, there's a solution. So we have to come up with a solution in order to move forward. Otherwise, everything stops.
All right, well, thanks so much for the information. We appreciate it as always.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you,
All right,
Jason.
stay tuned. We're back after this.